Point of the outcome. I have to give credit to Michigan State. Turnovers and red zone told the story of the day. Missing opportunities and not creating any turnovers. They won basically all the critical moments of the game. Like I said, very disappointing. Tough on our guys in the locker room. Still a lot of tight bonds in that locker room. A lot of guys that want to play hard for each other and want to make this right. And that's going to be our job as coaches to find a way to make it right. Questions?
Please, a reminder, use the hand raise function if you have a question for Coach Diaz. We'll start with Kobe Price from the Sun Sentinel. Kobe.
Thanks, Cam. Manny, in that the second half of the defense, you guys allowed, I believe it was 4 touchdowns. What was breaking down? What was happening in the second half?
It was they were creating a lot of one-on-one tackling opportunities with their screen game, and they were winning. They were running harder through our tackles, and we were running harder through contact. And that's on us to that's very disappointing from where we had been throughout this year. But fundamentally, I thought Walker and the way that he ran and the way that they got the ball to him through the screen game told the story. I don't know that they completed a pass down the field to a wide receiver until the touchdown on the third down in the red zone after the interception. So that'll be the point of emphasis this week defensively.
Donovan Campbell from WSVN. Go ahead.
What's going on, Coach Diaz? You mentioned the 4 turnovers, and just how difficult is that, especially when you get none on your side of the ball.
I mean, that's in our plan to win. You got to win the turnovers and win the explosive. And it wasn't just turning the ball over, but when the turnovers came, where they were on the field, they were all critical. And then when you add that, and you same thing, you have a couple empty possessions in the red zone. I mean, that's hard to overcome.
Gary Furman from Kane Sport. Go ahead.
Hey, Manny. Obviously, tackling continues to be just a massive problem for you. And, you've been coaching defense a long time, and I'm sure you're trying to figure out, why. We watch you guys in practice do those tackling drills every day and things like that. Do you feel like maybe that you're not doing enough full contact tackling work in practice and that you need to try to do more of that? Or is there anything that you think that you can do to improve that situation before you get into the conference schedule?
Yeah, Gary, we'll have to look at everything that we do. We have a system of tackling that we've done for a long time. It's yielded really good results. Obviously we're limited in terms of how much you're allowed to take a guy to the ground in practice. And then when you start to have injuries and depth concerns like what we have at running back, that definitely affects that as well. But that to your point, we tackled poorly in the secondary at some positions in the Alabama game. We tackled better as a team last week against App State. This was by far our worst performance. And obviously from a defensive standpoint, it cost us today.
Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Go ahead.
Hey, Manny. It feels like we're talking about a lot of the same things that have kind of snake bit you guys. The red zone offense, the tackling, the drops is another area. I mean, you're obviously trying with these guys to get them to get it right. What can you do at this point? Is benching guys moving forward the only resolution to this? How do you see sort of working out these issues that just continue to persist?
Yeah, it goes 2 ways. One, certainly you have to continue to try to address the fundamentals so you don't make those mistakes in a game. I think the more curious part is it's when guys who have not had a history of dropping passes or missing tackles, some of those type of things. And you wonder why, when you see older guys, guys that you count on making those type of mistakes, it hurts you. But yeah, at some point you gotta honor what the film says. And you got to be able to play guys that can make those type of plays and play guys that can get people on the ground on defense.
David Lake from 24/7. David?
Coach, I'm curious what your message to recruits would be right now. Obviously, not the kind of start you would have wanted or they would have wanted. What's your message to them?
Well, first, there's still a long way to go in this season. And we have recruited at a high level over the past 2 seasons. And that's what we're trying to do, is trying to stack big-time recruiting classes on top of one another. This is a temporary situation we're in right now. And these guys can be the answer. We had some great recruits in there today. Saw a great atmosphere inside of our stadium. these guys can come be the solution. These guys can come help this football program take that next step. So I think the recruiting is, that's exactly what the message would be.
Coach, we have three more for you. We'll go first to David Wilson from the Miami Herald. David?
Hey, Manny. First, wondering if there's an update on Jalen Rivers, and then just kind of the offensive line play in general. Obviously, you guys were reshuffling again out there. Just how much of a disappointment has that group been, I guess, considering the experience you had coming back?
Well, losing Jalen was a big time blow, and I don't have an update other than he was obviously out for the game. Yeah, I mean, Michigan State made it very difficult. I mean, the stat that jumps off is the sheet is 52 rushing yards, and it all comes down to Derek's arm. And then they can sort of pin their ears back and tee off on pass rush and make a lot of things happen back there and make things very difficult. So our inability to cover guys up and to be able to run the football consistently has created an issue. And it's the same thing. I mean, to your point, we've had some guys, we have to shuffle some guys around and we got to find the 5 guys that we can count on that can perform at a consistent level.
Last two for you, Coach. We'll go first to Susan Miller-Degnan from the Miami Herald. Susan?
Hey, Manny. Derek King, how is he doing? We know he ran into the locker room and then ran out. And just his performance today, he was hit hard.
Yeah, I mean, Derek has been as courageous as they come. And I think that's what the team, in the locker room, I think that's where the team is together, because I mean, how can you quit on a guy that gives what Derek King gives? I mean, the guy gives everything out there. He lays it all on the line for the University of Miami. I don't know any other update on him, but I know he's, just talking to him right now in the locker room after the game, he's hurt, and hurt in a way because he's hurt emotionally, because he wants so badly for us to be great. He wants so badly for us to be great on offense. And he's such a competitor, and he's not going to be satisfied until we are.
Coach, last question for you. We have Chris Stock from InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead for Coach.
Yeah, Coach, the disappointing results, the losses are adding up. What's your message to the fan base, and why will this thing get turned around as what's happening lately here?
It's hard to see, but the guys in the locker room, I mean, the moment we just had there in the locker room before I came in here, there's a bond here. There are things that we've got to get corrected as coaches that we can take accountability for. We've still got the ACC to play for. We've got the Coastal to play for. So, we've got to take a look at our personnel. We got to make the decisions on who's getting what opportunities out there. And, because there's been, as I mentioned, there's been some surprises. There've been some guys that we'd counted on that maybe aren't performing enough. We have to analyze why that is, and find the best team we can put on the field for the second half of our, really the last 3 quarters of our season. So it's, everyone has the right to be disappointed the way the first 3 games started. There's no defending that. We have not performed the way that we should perform. And this coaching staff will get that corrected. We'll get that fixed. And we got the guys in that locker room that want to stay together, that want to be a family and fight hard for each other and fight our way out of this.